Real Estate Revealed on Radio 2, brought to you by JustProperty.com.
All right, now, Nadeem is in from JustProperty.com. Every week you come in here and you tell us what we absolutely need to know so we can make better decisions when it comes to real estate.
I know, I feel really clever now.
Do you?
A little bit, yeah. Well, smarter than I did, Kenny.
Sometimes I feel really clever, and then
Yes.
Nadeem walks out and I'm like, oh, I have so many more questions.
I know, right?
Please come back. So anyway, you are back now, and last week, man, big eye-opener. You told us that 90% of the time, when you do the numbers, you end up saving more when you have a mortgage than you do when you're paying rent.
Yeah, it was like average of about 2,000 dirhams, wasn't it?
Yeah, that's right. That was for a one-bedroom apartment.
Oh, cool, okay.
Unbelievable.
That is crazy.
Unbelievable.
I know, right?
Anyway, what have you got for us today?
So today, if last week, Kenny, you were convinced to buy a property, and I'm assuming you are looking into a property right now, right, Kenny?
Always. Like I said, as soon as you walk out of here, I'm like, I've got so many more questions.
Yeah, exactly.
So the next step for you is pretty much to start researching home loans or mortgages, right? A mortgage is probably the biggest loan you'll ever take in your life.
Mm-hmm.
We're talking about potentially, hundreds of thousands of dirhams. So you really want to do your homework really well in terms of research, what's out there. But the first step for you is to figure out, okay, first, am I eligible for a home loan?
Okay,
right?
fine.
And well, pretty much, there's two big factors for you to be eligible for a home loan. The first one is your income. Pretty much anyone can qualify for a home loan as long as their income is above 7,000 dirhams a month, right?
Okay.
So that's one thing. And then the second most important thing is what we call the debt burden ratio. So this ratio basically reflects how indebted you are with regards to your other payments. So things like, do you have a car loan? Do you have a personal loan? Do you have credit cards? And the idea is that a bank will not give you a home loan unless you are not too indebted, and the ratio should be 50%. So if you add up all of your monthly loan repayments and you divide it by your monthly income, this should not exceed 50%.
Right.
All right, so they're going to look at that straight away, and you're not going to get into something that you can't get out of. That's the idea, right? So like checks and balances going on.
Exactly. And the U.A.E has done a good job in the past couple of years in terms of making sure that we formalize the credit rating of individuals. So last year, there was a credit bureau that was started that actually made it a lot more transparent for banks to figure out how indebted you are, whereas previously a bank pretty much had to rely on what you had to tell them, which is not really in your interest. It's always in your interest to be, to fully disclose your loan, your outstanding loans.
Absolutely. So, Daisy, you're going to have to reveal the brunch burden ratio that you have, too.
Yes.
So they'll probably be looking into that.
Oh, no.
So we've done our research now. We're eligible.
Yep.
What's next?
So the next thing is in terms of loan financing. So last week, remember, I said that you needed to have about 32% of the value of the property in cash as a down payment. That would cover the 25% down payment plus about 7% of overhead costs, things like the agency fee, the transfer fee, and the mortgage associated fee, which we'll talk about in a couple of minutes. But if you're a second-time buyer, you can only finance up to 60% of the property value. If you're a first-time buyer, it's 75%. So that's one thing you need to take into account.
Okay. What about the interest rate? That's going to hit us.
So interest rate, yeah. So interest rate is actually a very important thing, and we'll talk about it in two components.
Okay.
There's fixed interest rates and variable interest rates. Without getting into too much technicalities.
Yeah, too much at once.
There are advantages to both, depending on market conditions and your financial situation.
Okay, so we'll try to absorb this.
Right. And
we'll
then
come back and we'll tackle that. How about that?
Yeah,
Will that work, Nadeem?
Sounds great.
All right, so there you have it. Stay put. Nadeem, of course, from JustProperty.com. And if you haven't been over there to check out the website, it's all singing, all dancing. Go there now and have a look. And then we'll be right back.
Real Estate Revealed with JustProperty.com. Finding your perfect home is now easier than ever with JustProperty.com on Radio 2. Brought to you by JustProperty.com.
Now, Nadeem is in. He is our resident real estate expert. He's from JustProperty.com. We're talking about the fundamental things you need to know if you're looking to get a home loan.
Yeah.
You want to buy. You're tired of renting or leasing. So, Nadeem, you told us about the interest rates. That's a big factor when you're looking to buy. Probably one of the most important. What else do we need to look for?
Yeah, so the interest rate is pretty much the price of a loan, right? When you go shopping, you want to get the best price, right? So the interest rate is quoted in percent, and it's usually analyzed percent, and it's quoted into two different ways: reducing rate or flat rate. just look at the reducing rate, because this is the most relevant interest rate that you want to look at to compare with. And always make sure that if you're comparing two interest rates from two different banks, always compare reducing rate with reducing rate. Never compare reducing rate with flat rate, because this would be apple to oranges comparison.
Okay, fine.
So what are those?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So once you can start comparing interest rates basically online. There's a few good sites out there that can give you the quotes from different banks. But once you're narrowed it down, you're going to come down to a decision whether, okay, should I go with a fixed interest rate or should I go with a variable interest rate? And this is where basically there's a decision to be made depending on your financial situation, depending on the current economy, and depending on your strategy in terms of do you want to buy to live, or do you want to buy and maybe resell the property in 3 to 5 years?
Okay, so what else should we consider? Repayment and stuff like that?
Yeah, so on top of that, you have with variable interest rates, what you should consider is how this will evolve in the next few years. And variable interest rate depend on the market conditions. So right now, interest rates are really low,
right.
Which, like we said last week, is really another reason to consider buying. So high rental yields, really low interest rates, a lot of banks offering fantastic mortgage options. So that's a fantastic condition to consider, at least buying. And then, as you said, Daisy, there's other loan components. So a couple of things. The two biggest ones that we can think of is the early settlement fee, which is basically an option for you down the line to repay your loan early, ahead of time.
Okay,
and banks charge you a fee for that. It's about up to 1% of the outstanding loan value, but it's nice. It's a nice thing to have to get out of debt early. Which is always a fantastic option, which is always what we should be looking for, right?
Yeah,
absolutely.
Yeah, you need that.
So almost always you're going to pay a penalty if you get out early, or does that depend on the contract?
It's pretty. So banks charge you that because they make business by having an outstanding loan with you, right?
Yeah.
So if you want to get out of that relationship by paying it early, they have to charge a fee, right? Otherwise, you're getting a loan for a short period of time, and then you're getting out of it, and then the bank loses the business relationship with you. So that's an important one, and then finally. We talked about the arrangement fee. An arrangement fee is pretty much, an overhead cost for you. It's about up to 1% of the loan value, and it's a fee that pretty much like paperwork fee. Let's say, let's simplify things and say it's a paperwork fee, and you account for it for up to 1% of the loan value.
Okay.
So going back to last week, remember we said the total down payment would have to be 25% plus 7%. So within these 7%, you have a bunch of small fees that are related to getting a home loan.
You've given us a lot of information, Nadeem, haven't you?
Yeah.
But it's great. It's met like a Mortgage 101 right here. I love it.
So what I do is when he gives me this information, I'm almost like, I need to go look at my bank account.
Yeah.
Like immediately.
Yeah.
While he's talking, I want to do it.
So
it
quick,
takes
log in
all
now.
of my energy not to just turn
Exactly.
away and go, let me see. Let's punch this
How can
up
we
here.
do this? Exactly. All right. Well, thank you, Nadeem.
You're welcome, Daisy.
Yeah.
All right, so there it is.
There we go.
We'll be back next week. You're going to reveal some more inside
Gems.
information as far as real estate goes. And as always, check out the website. It is JustProperty.com. And like I said, if you're looking to rent, if you're looking to buy, it's your one-stop shop.
Yeah.
And they'll walk you through it over there. And then come on back here next week at 8:30, and we'll do it all over again. Nadeem, how can they catch up with you on Twitter if they got questions or
The
whatnot?
Twitter handle is JustProperty.
All right.
There
so,
it is.
Thank you.
Hey, thanks for stopping by, brother.
Thanks, Kenny.
Real Estate Revealed with JustProperty.com. Finding your perfect home is now easier than ever with JustProperty.com. Radio 2.